Yo guys, what is going on? Jake here. Okay, super pumped because I haven't done this in forever. We're just going out today. I've got the stabilizer, the GH5, my drone. I just want to get out and just film today because like for the past 2 weeks, I've been doing the auction soccer video stuff. Apologies for the wind. And I just wanted to get out today and shoot, but also most importantly, and why you guys are all here, I brought out the GoPro today because I want to take some raw GoPro photos, and then we're gonna hop back into the studio and I'm gonna show you guys how I'm editing my raw GoPro photos on my computer for free. So let's roll the B-roll, let's go have some fun today. Drone, slow motion, GoPro photos, and then I'll see you guys back in the studio. Okay. Alright guys, and we are finally back in the studio. Crazy busy day, did all kinds of Easter stuff, had a great little day. So good to be like back on YouTube. I feel like the past couple weeks I've completely neglected you guys due to the soccer video, which I think was really good and was this awesome video. In fact, let's flash up a few shots. We got some of our best smoke grenade shots yet in this video. Let's show them now. But that being said, great gig, great event. So glad that it's over. It was just kind of a time suck the past 2 weeks and it was totally worth it, but really did not get the time to be with you guys these past couple weeks. So I'm so excited to be doing YouTube again. But anyway, let's edit some GoPro photos and let's get back at this. All right, so to edit these photos, let's hop on over to the computer, do a little screen sharing, and I'll show you guys kind of what I do to edit my GoPro RAW photos. So let's talk about it. All right guys, so first things we're gonna do, obviously we're gonna open up our GoPro SD card and we're gonna grab those photos. I think today I'm going to just snag these and throw them onto my desktop, so I'm not exactly sure which ones I wanna use. Let's do 913 looks pretty good. Let's throw those onto the desktop. So we're just throwing, basically you can see here, we've got the JPEG photos and then the GPR photos, which I'm not 100% sure on, but I am almost positive that stands for GoPro RAW. Next thing you guys are gonna wanna do is just open up Darktable. Just Google Darktable, you can download it and then install it. It's available on Mac, Windows, and Linux. Here's the install page. As you guys can see, it can be downloaded on Mac, Windows, many different options of Linux. It's completely free, open source, and anyone can use it. But anyway, now that we have Darktable open, let's take this GPR file, this is GoPro RAW, and I'm going to actually drag it into here, and then boom, now you can see it. It's actually showing up in Darktable. And so, just for a little bit of background for you guys, you want to shoot raw photos because you're going to have the most information to edit in post. Obviously, if you guys are out shooting with your GoPro, you probably can shoot those JPEG photos, which is what we saw earlier right here. This is just your standard JPEG. You're gonna see that every time. And you know, it looks good. It looks totally fine. But the beauty of using something like Darktable in these raw photos is now we have so much more room to play with. So when we come in here, we can actually see the image. It's very flat. And then we can go in and we can do all kinds of adjustments. Obviously, the first one is we want to turn the saturation way up. We want to bring those colors back in that we took out because we shot it in flat. And then we can see here the image just isn't very bright. So we're going to go over to the exposure. We can turn the exposure up and really bring the brightness up. As you can see there, though, the sky was actually exposed really well, and suddenly I blew out my highlights up here in the top, which we don't want. So the sky seems to actually be exposed nicely. So then I can come over to like my shadows, maybe bring up my shadows, keep my highlights nice and good. Maybe even take my highlights down, or maybe go up a little bit. Like we could take our highlights down, go back to our exposure, because maybe we do want the overall exposure to be a little bit higher. And then you can just, I mean, you can see here I'm keeping so much more dynamic range, which is what everyone talks about. I'm able to keep my clouds relatively exposed, although we need to go up here and maybe crank those down a little bit. You can see I've lost some information on like the brightest part, but then I'm also keeping some information in the shadows, and I'm able to pull up my shadows quite a bit and really brighten them. I'm actually really liking how this is looking, really bringing up those shadows and getting just this super awesome high dynamic range image. So let's go back. I'm going to crank the exposure actually back down just a little bit to bring that detail back in those clouds. And then we'll go back up to the shadows and turn those up. And yeah, I'm really liking sort of how this is looking. And of course, you know, you guys can shoot whatever, you can play around with whatever. That is the beauty of shooting raw photos with your GoPro and shooting it flat, is then you just have so much more information to play with. Another thing that I really like to do is this color correction. You can add a little bit of orange to your highlights, maybe a little bit of teal to the shadows, and get sort of that teal and orange look that Sam Kolder is super famous for in his video editing. You can also go down here and do like a color lookup table. So maybe like this blue that I'm not a huge fan of how that blue is looking. I try to find kind of the color. Maybe I want some more yellow in it, and it'll actually go in and modify that specific blue and change it to be more yellow, which actually looks really ugly. I'm not a big fan of that. We're going to take that back. With a raw photo, change specific colors into completely different ones. And I mean, you know, whether or not that's how you want your image to look or what you're going for, it's just cool that with a raw photo, you have so much more information to play with. But anyway, guys, like I mentioned, this is the software that I have used for over a year now to do all of my raw photo editing. Even since I had like the Panasonic G7 when I was editing my raw photos, this is the application that I use. It really is just sort of a straight ripoff from Adobe's Lightroom, which I love that they called it Darktable Lightroom. I kind of like how they sort of ripped off Adobe right there and really just made this awesome open source free software that you can now edit GoPro files in. For those of you who don't know, this is, I think, a pretty recent addition, because I downloaded this last year and I wasn't actually even able to edit GoPro photos in this application. And then I saw that they added it in an update and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to update. And I'll start taking way more pictures with my GoPro because I love taking raw pictures with my GoPro. Anyway, guys, that is the application that I use, and it's completely free. You can use this for, I think, almost every RAW file type. I mean, every camera I've ever had, it's had success with, except for the GoPro, which now it supports, which is really, really cool. So definitely go check this out. Definitely go try this. This application is awesome. All right, guys, and like I said, that is how I edit my photos. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, definitely leave me a like and consider subscribing. Do a lot of GoPro videos on this channel, as well as a lot of other camera stuff and all of my personal projects that I just have fun making, my little mini movies or whatever you want to call them, all on this channel. So feel free to subscribe and definitely check out those videos in the future. Speaking of my little personal projects, guys, the current one that I keep talking about, well, you know, I just didn't have the time to really spend the resources to do it as much as I wanted the past couple weeks because of the soccer video. Now that that's all behind us, I am going to be just editing that like a fiend. I made some progress this weekend and I am really pumped on some of the shots and effects and how I've been able to compose some of this. Really, really excited for how that one's going to turn out. So definitely stay tuned for that one, but I was just itching to basically make another YouTube video and kind of get back in the flow of things that I was like, I'm gonna go out today, I'm gonna shoot some GoPro pictures and we're just gonna talk about it really quick because I can't wait a whole nother week to do another YouTube video, but I still want to work on it at the same time. So anyway, that is still coming, but you guys have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, whatever time you're watching this, and I hope that I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, and I will catch you all later. Okay, bye guys.